Life was not meant to be the misery that we feel through drug addiction.
The pancreas is shot, the liver is shot, and it's just like signing my death warrant right now. If I was to drink again.
I had to sell my body. I literally had to have sex with a man so that he would go get me more dope. And I think about how curled up on the bed after I had done that, hands and fists, going, I cannot do this anymore. It's either death or I've got to get help.
Life is a recovering addict. That's what you're up against. Is it possible that you'll be able to live your whole life without one more drink, one more joint, one more pill? It is possible, but it takes a lot of work, a lot of planning, and a lot of friends. Becoming sober has been the most important and courageous decision you have ever made. To remain sober is the most important decision you make every single day for the rest of your life.
And sobriety to me, just one day of sobriety, looking like a piece of gold. And I had to be thirsty for that. And I had to have a 110% desire within myself to change. It could not have been for a job, my family, nobody. It had to have been from within me.
It sounds like a daunting task, and at times it can be. But the rewards of recovery are worth the effort. Your recovery is a time to reinvent yourself, to get rid of all the old using habits that negatively impacted your life, and to create the person you want to be. And that's why we're here today. Together, we want to explore the daily challenges that face every recovering addict. The using urges, the high-risk situations, the emotions, and the habits that still linger from a using lifestyle. These basic principles of recovery are the hardest and the most important. Your recovery needs to become second nature.
You got to want to be sober. And you got to be, like you say, you come back to the honesty. And you have to work at it. You have to put a little bit in to get a little bit out. You just can't go to an AA meeting and sit there and look off into space. It doesn't work that way. You have to be open to what you hear. And you have to use what you hear.
The motivation to stay sober is not, for me, about cleaning chemicals out of my life as much as it is returning values and principles and destiny into my life. So unfortunately, I need to remove the chemicals in order to make the other one possible.
Man, I'm gonna revert back to what I know. And unfortunately, that's negative and bad habits and something that's gonna kill me.
Old habits, new knowledge. Through the process of addiction, we created our own little world that allowed the opportunity to get high when and how we wanted. We created habits and environments that let us live the using lifestyle. In recovery, we need to change those habits. We need to live in an environment that gives us the greatest chance to stay sober. For most of us, that environment starts in the home.
Hey.
Hi, Noel. How's work?
Pretty good. I don't believe what I'm seeing. You guys are actually cleaning?
We're just getting the place ready before everyone gets here.
Oh, who's coming over?
Jake, Casey, Tim, Brian, Jane, you know.
You're having everyone over to party here? Why would you do that to me?
You know we have a party here every Thursday. Why would we change? Because you got religious on us? Treatment was your thing, not ours.
Look, I'm not telling you how to live your lives. But do you have to get high here? I've made a decision to change my life. And I was hoping that you'd at least have the decency to respect that.
Hey, we respect it. It's cool. We don't really care if you want to live the sober life. But just because you supposedly don't drink or smoke anymore doesn't mean that we can't. Last time I looked, we pay rent on the apartment too, so if we want to have some friends over, then that's what we're gonna do.
Well, maybe you could do it when I'm not here. I really have to study tonight.
Never stopped you before. Just stick around for a while. You'll have fun once everyone gets here.
Yeah, here. That'll calm you down. It'll get you in the mood. Hey, say hi to all my friends in group, will you? Tell them I'll try to make the next meeting.
You can't constantly put yourself in high-risk situations. If someone you're living with is still using, that's a high-risk situation. You need to make sure you're living in a stable and sober living environment.
You have to change everything. You have to stop dealing. I hate to say it, it's good money, all that kind of stuff, but you have to stop. You have to stop doing stuff that hurts your spirit, or if you're a stripper, maybe get out of that job, or if you're a prostitute, you've got to quit. I mean, wherever the drugs are, you've got to get out of that environment.
I just don't think they understand that I'm trying to change my life. I mean, I want to stay sober, but it's as if they don't want me to stay sober, you know?
Well, they probably don't. You're an outsider to them now. They see you as a threat to their drugging and boozing. You need to seriously consider getting out of there.
Oh.
These are people you used with all the time, and your apartment is a place you used all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the more time you spend there and the longer you hang out with these friends, the harder your recovery is going to be.
Sometimes the solution to creating a stable living environment is moving or starting over, and in this case, that would be the best solution. But what if you don't live with people who use, or what if you live alone? How do you create a stable living environment then?
I went actually to my apartment with a support group, and I hunted through the entire place with that group, petrified that I'd find something, petrified that I wouldn't. After they left, I hunted longer because I was looking for a rock. I probably hunted for 3 or 4 hours.
Hey, come on in. Oh, sorry, such a mess. I left in a bit of a hurry. Thanks again for helping me out.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. I've been there. I remember getting back to my place. I couldn't go near that cabinet for days. I barely had enough courage to walk in the kitchen. I could feel the bottles spilling at me. You did the right thing in asking me to come to help. I mean, there's no sense in tempting yourself.
That's what I thought too.
So, where do you keep it all?
It's in the kitchen, and then there's a bottle in my room.
Is that all? Can you think of any bottles you've stashed away for a rainy day?
Check the front hall closet. I've been known to hide something in there as well. Hey, look, is there something I can help with? I mean, what should I be doing?
No. Just sit back and relax. I've got this under control. We'll just throw all this stuff out, and then we'll pop in that movie.
Great.
Where's your bathroom?
Oh, down the hall on the left.
Then
You gotta go again? How much coffee did you drink?
I'm dumping all your booze.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute, why? Why don't we just throw it in the dumpster out back?
Look, this is all for your own good, right? I mean, if we throw it in the dumpster, you can still get at it, right? If we flush it down the toilet, you'll have a little harder time.
Clean house. Whether you have to clean your house of the alcohol and drugs you used, or if you have to clean house of roommates who are still using. Either way, clean house. Because if you don't, you're putting yourself in what we call a high-risk situation. High-risk situations bring about using urges and undermine even the best recovery programs. In the early stages of recovery, you need to avoid the places, the situations, the people you used drugs and alcohol with. Take Mary, for example. When she was using, she liked to hide away in her apartment and smoke marijuana. For Mary, just being alone in her apartment is a dangerous temptation to relapse, to start using again. You're thinking about it again, aren't you? You're thinking about how easy it would be to call your dealer and be back here getting high. Just one more time. Who would know, right?
You start making a network of people that you can reach by phone. You go to meetings, you read literature. There's whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat and gets you out of that situation. Because all these things pass, and the more you practice them, the longer the time span in between the impulses or the cravings.
It's okay. Urges happen to everyone. You're going to go through these urges from time to time, but you have to challenge that thinking. The longer you can hold out from giving into your urges, the weaker the urges become. Challenge the urge by remembering all of the consequences your addiction brought on. Remember sitting in jail after your DUI? That's when you promised yourself you wouldn't smoke again. These urges are strong, but you know how to beat them.
Yeah, hi, Angela, this is Mary. Hi, I just needed to talk to someone. I'm really having a hard time now.
Everyone who is recovering has to deal with using urges. Our brains are programmed to crave alcohol and other drugs. Generally, these urges only last for a few minutes, but those minutes can be very trying. Just remember that you need to fight those urges. Call a recovering friend and talk about what you're going through. If nobody's around, just get out of the house. Be around people. Do what you have to do to get through it.
When people ask me when they get an urge to drink, and I get a lot of calls, I just tell them get busy. Go for a walk, clean out your dresser, scrub the floor, do something, and it'll pass.
All of those memories about how great your using days were are labeled euphoric recall. That simply means that you only remember the good things that happened to you while you used, and you probably embellish those. I had more fun when I used drugs. I made a lot of good friends when I drank. You're not being honest with yourself when you think this way. You know the truth. A good way to get through euphoric recall is to remember all of the bad things that happened to you. Pick a particularly devastating incident your addiction caused. Think about how you felt emotionally and physically. What was it like to face your family and friends? This is called thinking the drug or drink through and should help you fight the urge.
I will go to any length to use. I will sell my soul, body, mind. I will steal, cheat, rob you blind, literally, to use, because I can't stop once I start.
I had my big car crash in 1984, so I would be in my early 40s at that time. Almost killed myself. Wound up in a hospital for 16 weeks in traction. Numerous broken bones, a lot of pain, physical and emotional pain, and devastating for my family too.
My drug of choice is cocaine. I couldn't rub two $10 bills together in early recovery without getting that urge in my stomach, that feeling, this whole body sensation that this was an opportunity to connect me with some cocaine.
That's delusional thinking. You know you have no control over drugs and alcohol. You've already proven that to yourself. If you find yourself thinking like this, you have to imagine what would really happen if you used. Bring yourself back to reality.
Was that I needed to talk about those two $10 bills. I needed to take that to somebody and say, you know what? I need to either own this feeling that I'm having or actually have you hold my money for me. Because I'm fine with that bus that goes by with a Bacardi ad on it, but I can't handle payday.
If you find yourself in the middle of an urge, you should also try to talk with someone about it and let him or her help you through it. Because one thing's for sure about your recovery, you're going to need friends. Sober